Hi, welcome back to Mental Override. I just want to thank you if you clicked the link below in the short to listen to the long form video. Today, I want to talk to you about what is mental override and what does it mean to overcome fear. Mental override is making a choice and acting in spite of fear, consequences, feelings, or environment. I like to describe it as the person who's standing on the tower or the diving board, and what is it in them that lets them take that step to go over the edge and do the difficult thing that maybe they're afraid of or maybe that you're fearful from. So today I said that only a certain type of person can overcome fear. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at our lives. Let's take a look at the people we know and the things that we've seen. There are people of a certain type of character that it can accomplish difficult things and scary things. So what does that mean? A firefighter needs to be strong with his muscles and have mental fortitude to run into a burning building and make decisions to rescue people in spite of the fear, in spite of the flames, in spite of the danger. And one of the ways they develop that, one of the ways we can develop that, is by growing our character. You see, it takes a particular type of character to overcome fear. Well, what does that mean? I want to describe a concept for you that I've been thinking about and that I've been learning in my own life. And that is discipline, habits, and routines. You see, when we choose intentionally what we want to have in our life, when we choose a disciplined routine per se, when we wake up in the morning and we choose self-care and we choose to love ourselves, we choose to eat right, we choose to take time to have an attitude of gratitude and be thankful for the things we have. These are the things in our lives that we can control. There's a lot of things in our life that we can't control that's outside of our control, but we can choose our habits, our routines, say our inputs and our outputs, the things we choose to put in our body, the things we choose to put in our mind, even the thoughts we want to think. We can think thoughts. We can choose the thoughts that we want to choose. We can examine our beliefs even. You see, the same muscle that you use in discipline, the same muscle that we use to choose intention when we wake up and make a decision, is the same muscle, the same thing that builds our character. And our character is what holds space to overcome fear. So what kind of person can mountain bike like I do and go down a really steep run? What kind of person can do a downhill race? What kind of person can do a 24-hour race? It's a person of a certain character. And see, that character is developed by our habits, our routines, our beliefs, our values, and intentions. You see, when you choose to develop your character, it's developed through small acts of discipline every day, where you choose to get up at a certain time, you choose to stretch your body, you choose to meditate, and that develops a character who is capable of overcoming fear. You see, we have to choose our daily routines, and we also have to imagine the person who can do those things. We have to imagine and believe in our highest self. You see, part of choosing the routines is also choosing who we want to become. When we say, I want to be a person of strength, a person of character who can overcome these fears, we also have to imagine what that person would be like. We have to ask ourselves, well, what kind of routines would a person who wants to be a good biker, mountain biker, become? What kind of routines would a person who can do really steep things have to do to become that character? And so as we make choices, deliberate choices in spite of fear, and maybe they're just micro choices to progress our abilities, these micro choices every day enhance and grow our character. Now, our character is also defined by how we hold ourselves accountable. Do we lie to ourselves? Do we trust ourselves every day to love ourselves, to wake up and go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the time to take care of my body, to take care of my mind, to eat my health, to exercise and grow into the type of person I want to become. I'll give you a challenge. take a look around in your life. What type of character are people who have things that look difficult to you? What type of character is the type of person who is doing something that looks scary to you? Are you stuck in fear? Are you stuck trying to do something and not moving forward? Take a look around. A lot of times there's nothing new under the sun. You can look around at different people, different mentors, different coaches who have done the thing that you want to do. And you'll discover that it takes a particular type of character to overcome fear, because that character grows strength, it grows the ability to act in spite of those fears. You see, we have to have faith. We have to believe that we can do something before we see the results. See, if you're waiting to have the strength to do something before you go to do it, it'll never come. If you wait until you're not afraid to do something, you'll always be afraid. But if you imagine yourself as someone who can overcome that fear, if you imagine and start to visualize what type of person, what type of character will be able to do the things that I'm afraid of, you'll begin to get insights into some of the habits, the routines, and the choices that you need to make in order to overcome that fear. Then your values, your integrity begins to show up, and that's when you hold yourself accountable. Are you accountable to yourself? Do you have an integrity to what you're willing to give yourself? Do you give yourself gifts that your future self will thank you for? See, this is all about building character and integrity, and a lot of that isn't taught. I find in schools today we have reading, writing, and arithmetic. These are all skill sets, but the person you have to live with your whole life is yourself. Everyone around you has to experience what type of person you're becoming. In one of my talks, I talk about asking the question, who do you want to become, not just what do you want to do? And in a lot of ways, our habits and routines, the micro choices that we choose to act out daily, will determine who we become. If you want to be a person of strong muscles and you exercise every day and look after yourself, you'll become that person. If you're a person who wants to be mindful and aware and considerate of others, perhaps meditating every day and taking time to take stock, have gratitude, and reflect will develop that character. So character is what determines our ability to overcome fear. And mental override is the act of choosing your actions in spite of fear. And the way we grow that muscle of mental override is by expanding our character. And one of the easiest ways to expand our character is through routines, habits, discipline, and commitment to ourselves. And I think one of the linchpins in all of this is to be honest with ourselves. You know, they say the truth will set you free. I think we need to imagine ourselves as more than we are. Imagine what type of person is capable of doing a thing, but we also have to be realistic. A lot of times I talk about minimalism. Perhaps there's something we need to remove from our lives first, and then perhaps there's something we need to add to our lives. So if you're trying to develop your character, are there people you need to remove from your life, or is there someone you need to add to your life? You know, a lot of times we are the sum total of the people we hang around with. They have influence. There's the saying of iron sharpens iron. Do the people around you influence your character in a positive way, in a negative way? Are you the type of person that can hold space to be around people that are difficult to be around? Perhaps you need to grow your character first in that way, and then it won't be as hard for you. You can overcome that fear. So in sum, I want to thank you for just clicking the link and tuning into Mental Override. For me, this journey of choosing who I want to become has allowed me to live intentionally, has allowed me to change the character that I wanted to be from a person working way too much, valuing material things, to putting people first, putting myself absolutely first, and then being concerned about my values, which are community, peace, authenticity, and stewardship. By choosing my values, I'm able to create a different character And that different character allows me to hold space for new things in my life. For example, if you wanted to be better financially, you have to imagine yourself as someone who cares about their finance, who cares about where they spend their money, who makes choices to do a budget and be disciplined. A lot of people want wealth, but they don't know how to be wealthy financially because they haven't developed a character that has the habits and routines of wealthy people. So now this isn't all about money. That's just a tool that, can magnify really who we are. I think money just takes a man and makes him tenfold. So whatever you are now is just going to become 10 times as much when you have financial abundance per se. But most things in life are stopped or prevented because of fear. Most of the things that we want to have, most of the relationship changes we need to make, most of the work changes we need to change, accepting ourselves, believing in our future, changing our environment, stop because of fear. We come up with reasons and excuses of why we can't, and that's because we're holding our identity in the past. We're holding our identity to something that no longer serves us. So do you need to imagine yourself as someone who can? Do you need to develop habits and routines and get intentional about your daily choices so that you can become the person that overcomes fear? So in sum, use mental override, be intentional, act in spite of fear, choose the outcome you want to have, choose the results that you're looking for before you attempt it, and you will start to become the person who can. So thanks for tuning in. I'd love to hear your comments down below about the talk and the ideas, and I'd love to comment back with you. Cheers.